There are places on Earth so dangerous that even governments walked away from them. No warning signs. No fences, just silence. In the middle of what was once the Aral Sea, there exists an abandoned Soviet research facility known only as Aralsk 7. Officially, it no longer exists, but what was tested there never truly disappeared. Vozrozhdeniya Island, meaning Island of Rebirth, was once completely surrounded by water. It was isolated, unreachable, and for the Soviet Union, it was perfect. So what exactly was Aralsk 7? According to declassified Soviet documents and US intelligence reports that came out years later, Aralsk 7 was a key part of Biopreparat, the Soviet Union's clandestine biological weapons program. This wasn't just theoretical research. Scientists on the island were actively testing live samples of some of the most horrifying pathogens imaginable. We're talking about anthrax, smallpox, the plague, tularemia, and even specially developed, weaponized bacterial strains designed to be more resistant and more lethal. And these were not contained simulations in a sterile lab. The tests were conducted in the open air, on the island itself. They would release these deadly agents to see how they spread, how long they survived in the harsh desert climate, and what their effects were on live subjects. Aralsk 7 was a real-world testing ground for biological warfare. In 1971, something went terribly wrong. During an outdoor test of a weaponized strain of smallpox, a Soviet research vessel, the Left-Berg, sailed too close to the island. The crew had no idea what was being released into the air just a few miles away. Within days, several people on board became violently ill. The symptoms were unmistakable. It was smallpox. Official reports, which were covered up for decades, confirmed that at least 10 people were infected. 3 of them died. The incident was a terrifying preview of what could happen if these pathogens ever escaped the island's confines. The Soviet government, of course, denied everything. They claimed the outbreak was from a natural source, but the internal record survived, telling a very different story. The secret of Aralsk 7 had claimed its first victims outside the lab. Then something even worse happened, something no one had predicted. The Aral Sea, which had provided the island with its crucial isolation, began to dry up. Decades of Soviet irrigation projects diverting its water sources caused the sea to shrink at an alarming rate. By the early 1990s, Vozrozhdeniya Island was no longer an island at all. A land bridge had formed, connecting it directly to the mainland. Whatever had been tested, released, and buried there over the years was no longer contained by water. With the collapse of the Soviet Union, the military personnel stationed at Aralsk 7 packed up and left. They abandoned the facility in a hurry, almost overnight. There was no cleanup, no decontamination, no warnings posted for the locals. They just locked the doors and walked away, leaving behind a toxic legacy of forgotten pathogens buried in the sand. When US and international teams were finally able to access and inspect the site in the late 90s and early 2000s, what they found was chilling. The facility was a ghost town of rusted labs, with broken equipment and shattered storage units. They discovered open-air testing grounds where anthrax spores could still be found in the soil. They found massive burial pits, filled with the remains of thousands of animals used in the experiments. While a US-led team managed to decontaminate some of the largest anthrax burial sites, the scale of the problem was immense. Some of the deadly samples had been hastily destroyed before the Soviets left. Others, according to some reports, were simply gone, their whereabouts unknown. To this day, scientists and intelligence agencies admit they don't know the full inventory of every single pathogen that was tested or stored on that island. The full truth of what was left behind remains buried in the desert. Aralsk 7 is not just a ghost story from the Cold War. It's a very real and present warning. It's a stark reminder of what happens when secrecy is prioritized over safety and when nature is pushed to its breaking point. The island, now a peninsula, still exists. The soil in many areas is still contaminated with hardy pathogens like anthrax spores, which can survive for decades. And now that it's connected to the mainland, wildlife and potentially even people can wander through these contaminated zones. The laboratory may be abandoned, but its consequences are not. It stands as a silent monument to the terrifying potential of biological weapons and the long, unpredictable shadow they cast over our future. As we step into 2026, we're reminded that the past doesn't always stay buried. Some places are abandoned not because they're empty, but because they're too dangerous to remember. This year, we will continue uncovering the real stories hidden behind locked doors, forgotten files, and silent ruins. Happy New Year, 2026. Stay curious, stay cautious, and never forget, some labs were abandoned for a reason. Thanks for watching.